Hola chicos! Today we're going to talk about un árbol genealógico, or what we might otherwise call a family tree. We're cognate ninjas in training, so we know genealógico has something to do with genealogy. So we're going to look at a couple different family trees, and we're going to be able to see relationships with those family trees. So the first one we're going to look at is los Obama. So when you talk about someone's last name, you'll notice you don't say the Obamas, you say los, you just make it plural, and then you add their last name. We're not going to add an S to their last name. So, los Obama. Here we have yo. So if she is yo, who is everyone else's relationship relative to her? Well, she has el padre, and la madre, and la hermana. So that would be a very small, very simple family. Then we have los Simpson. Los Simpson, starting with Lisa as yo. So Lisa has una hermana, Maggie, un hermano, Bart. So in total, she has dos hermanos. Because we know when it's a mixed group, we just go with the masculine plural, hermanos. Homer is the padre, and Marge is la madre. Or we could say el papá y la mamá. Now we could look at los Cullen. So if Renesme is the yo for this one, she is an hija única. Well, we know hija means daughter. So hija única, we could look at única and see, that looks like unique. If you're a unique daughter, you got it, you're an only child. So you can be an hijo único o hija única. So she has un padre, Edward, and una madre, Bella. And she has a bunch of tíos, Alice, Jasper, Rosalie, and Emmett. She has some abuelos, right, which are los papás de su padre, Carlisle and Esma. And then she's got some more abuelos, Charlie and Renee. And then she's got Phil. We'll count Phil as an abuelo. So, looking at los Weasley, we're going to start with Albus as the yo. So Albus has dos hermanos again, Lily and James. He's got his padres, Harry and Ginny. He's got a bunch of tíos and tías. So he's got Hermione and Ron are his tío and tía. And Fred and George are los tíos. But we know Fred and George is something very special about Fred and George. They are idénticos. So the word for twin is gemelo. So they are los gemelos. Percy is another tío. Charlie is another tío. And Bill is yet another tío. And all of these tíos, except Hermione, of course, are sons and daughters, are hijos of Molly and Arthur. So, Hermione and Ron also have children. They also have hijos. So their hijos are Hugo and Rose, which would make them prima and primo to these children over here. So primo and prima is going to be your cousins. Next, we have even more complicated, the los Kardashian. So we're going to start with Courtney. Courtney is our yo. So we know a lot of real basic words already. She has an hijo, Mason, an hija, Penelope, right? She has a novio, Scott. So novio is going to be like boyfriend. She has Kim is her hermana. Chloe is also her hermana. And Robert is her hermano. Now, these people also have couples, right? Long-term boyfriends. So, we know Kim is with Kanye. And at the time that this prezi was made, he was the novio of her hermana. So, he would now be the esposo de mi hermana. Lamar is the cuñado, because Chloe and Lamar, at the time this was made, were married. So, cuñado. So if it is your sister's husband, what do we call that? That's right. We call it a brother-in-law, right? So cuñado is going to be brother-in-law. So I bet you could guess that cuñada would be sister-in-law. So that's her kind of immediate family there. Now, Kim and Kanye have a baby, obviously, and her name is North. So she is now Courtney's sobrina. She is her niece. Now, these children here have padres, so they have Chris and Robert Sr., okay? But we know that this relationship ended and Chris was married to Bruce. So Bruce is not her padre, but her padrastro. That would be her stepfather. So these siblings, and we'll, depending on what your family situation is, you can draw lines between like what's a half sibling, what's a step sibling, and we'll talk more about that in class. But if we wanted to say half sister, that would be media hermana. Kendall would be her media hermana. Brody would be her hermanastro. And Brandon would also be her hermanastro. Okay? So media means half. So these are her half siblings. When someone is your half sibling, that means you share one parent with them biologically. When someone is your step sibling, that means you don't share DNA with them. So if your father got remarried to a woman and she brought her children to live with you, they are your step siblings because you're not related to them by blood. Okay? So that's how you can kind of make those differentiations. Linda is Bruce's ex-wife. So she is la ex-esposa del padrastro. So this got real complicated real fast, as things tend to do in Hollywood. But those are kind of all the vocabulary words you're going to need for this unit. So this Prezi is a really good resource for you to keep studying on. And go ahead and view my other video that's going to be about the verb tener, and that'll help you a lot.